And welcome to Wrestling and... Oh my gosh, it's been so long. It's been a while. But today we are going to talk about wrestling and the G1 Climax 32, I think it is. At least we're going to talk about the first two nights of it and do a little preview of the next two. So very exciting. This year's G1 has a new and interesting format, depending on who you ask. And it's back in the summer. No Olympics. No Olympics that get pushed to another year. Nothing like that. So the heat is back the summer of G1. And I am excited about it. And how about you, Justin, my co-host, Justin, In-Ring Art? Are you excited about the G1?
My favorite time of the pro wrestling year is the G1 Climax tournament. For those of you not familiar with the G1 Climax tournament, it's a yearly tournament that New Japan holds. It's basically a round-robin format. This year's, John was talking about, this year's tournament's a little different because usually you have two groups, or as they call them, blocks, of 10 wrestlers, and they all face each other. 2 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, 0 points for a loss, and at the end, the winners of each block advance to the final. This year's is different because we have 4 blocks with 7 wrestlers each, right, John?
Yeah, I think that's right. 7 wrestlers each for 4 blocks, and so it's a little different because the winner of, like, Block A will go... I don't know if it's A versus B or C, but...
I believe it is.
Okay.
It is A versus B and C versus D.
So the winner of
as
Block...
semifinalist.
Winner of Block A will go against the winner of Block B, and same for C and D, and then those two winners... So basically, you're turning it from a round-robin into an elimination tournament at the end there.
I guess they have 2 semifinals at the end, but it's almost like I guess you can call it like a World Cup style, where you have the groups and stuff.
Yeah,
and you have to advance out of group play. So
the reason that they're doing it, I'm not sure if it's just to be different. They're definitely getting more people in here because it's 714, so 28 wrestlers, right?
8 more wrestlers. It doesn't feel like that for some reason. But you have 8 more wrestlers, and my understanding it hasn't been this big since the year 2000.
Okay. Another interesting thing is that you're only having 1 block match per night, which is good and bad. It's definitely really interesting, right? Like, usually you do, like, all A block matches in one night, and then all B block matches. But now it's A block, B block, C block, D block. Like, each is one night. So it's being also spread out quite a bit, as opposed to previous years. So it's probably good because, you know what? The wrestlers get to take a break, right? They get to heal their body. G1 is also always considered a grueling tournament, right? Like, really difficult. And
you're having hard-hitting singles matches almost on a nightly basis. And I guess the downside of this, which is very brief, to the schedule, is it's a little harder to keep up with the standings. Not knowing which night or who's in what block is a little more confusing now.
I've started to memorize it a little bit. You start to just remember.
Right. But then, it's a little harder to keep up in the standings and stuff like that. And then you have guys like Tom Lawler, who isn't having his first match in the G1 for about 9 days from now.
Yeah, and he's still got 6 matches. So
Right, and it goes from 6 matches for each wrestler to from 9. So there's a reduction there, which is good for their health, obviously. But the good side to it is, it just kind of, there's more wrestlers involved, and it feels like it's a little slower pace, so you get to enjoy it a little bit more. And I like the idea.
It's cool. It's definitely interesting. And in kayfabe, like, losses and wins count a little more, I guess, right?
And I kind of like the idea of having a semifinalist. It kind of gives them a little bit of a feather in the cap. If you don't just have to win the thing to kind of, he was the semifinalist, that kind of thing.
It definitely opens it up to a lot of storytelling, right? Like, there's a lot of different stuff you can do with the semifinals, and whoever loses that, there's a story there, and then the final. So it's interesting. It's unique. I'm down for it. I really don't have anything bad to say about it. It's been kind of fun to watch, like, each one block. Like, you're kind of getting used to it. Not all the blocks are easy to remember except the A block, which is the Monster block plus Okada and Yano. Like, that's pretty much all it is. The monsters plus Okada and Yano. So, and Tom Lawler, I guess. He's not really a monster. But, all right, jumping right back into things, guys. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties involving Zoom licenses, which we've never dealt with before.
No, we're good to go now. We're on, well, we don't have to say our platform, but we're in a better place now.
We're in a better place. We are using the Star Trek hologram room now to communicate. So holodeck. Is that what it's called? Yeah, that's right.
I think so. I'm not really a Star Trek guy, but I do remember the holodeck.
We've all seen a little Star Trek here and there, right?
A little bit.
Yes. So we were busy talking about the new format of the 4-block G1. It's kind of funny because you remember back in the day when Finley and Hanare used to be like, C block.
Yeah, now there's an actual C block, and I don't think any of them are in it, ironically.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, Finley is what, in D block?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And I think Hanare's in B or
He's
A.
in A block.
Right.
A block's the easiest one for me to remember because it's, like I said, it's all the big guys. So you got Fale, Archer, Cobb, Jonah, and Hanare. Right?
And Okada, yeah.
Wait.
And Okada and, what's it called, are in those,
Okada and Yano.
Yeah,
Wait.
isn't,
Are there 8 people
Tom
in the
Lawler?
blocks?
Tom Lawler's in that, too.
Wait, so there's
7.
8.
It's Fale, Archer.
Oh, Hanare's not in that block. I apologize.
No, Hanare's the one with
block.
Tanahashi.
Yeah. So, yes, it's Fale, Archer, Jonah, Cobb, Okada, Yano, and Lawler.
Right.
Yeah, so Yano, it's hilarious. You see Yano's reaction to that.
Yeah.
He says, I haven't been sleeping right since they announced the blocks. Which is kind of funny, actually, when you look at his recent match that we'll talk about soon.
Yes, we will.
So, let's... so you watched the undercard for the first night?
Yeah, but you'll have to remind me of who was in it.
Well, I don't have the list here. I was just wondering if anything jumped out to you at all.
It was cool to see Lawler make his first entrance.
Wasn't that match good?
Yeah, I liked... He had a singles match the second night against the Young Lion.
So, well, the first night was a singles match against Young Lion.
Right, and I'm sorry, and the second night was with him and Royce Isaacs.
Did you see his finisher?
Probably.
And the move is awesome. I think it's something KOTB, which stands for, like, the knee on the brain.
Yeah, it's like a reverse Kamigoye almost.
Yeah, like, it looked really impactful. Like, it looked...
Yeah.
When when you can, like, knee the dude right in the shoulder/neck area, that thick area, but it looks like you got hit right in the head. Really, really cool. Was that his finisher in New Japan Strong?
Gosh, I don't know if I really remember, to be honest with you.
Come on, you're the LA guy.
I've seen his matches here and there. Well, he's not... Oh, I guess they've done some Strong tapings here. I don't remember if he didn't wrestle at the show we went to, though.
You didn't?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
He was there, eating Fred Rosser's hair.
Oh, okay.
I just always assume... I mean, I've seen him wrestle. I just don't remember. I just thought he was in a submission guy.
Yeah. Well, he's... Oh, yeah. I mean, he's not going to be... Especially in that... If he did have, like, a slam finisher, like, you're not going to be able to do that in this block, right? You're not going to be able to slam Fale and Archer.
Not unless you're one of the bigger guys, I guess.
Yeah, so he needed that. I think it's a new one because they were saying the name of it and stuff like that. So I think he's got this new finisher that he can do on anybody, which is pretty cool. Yeah, really, really cool. Real quick, let's talk about some of the newer people in the G1. So we have Lawler, right?
Yeah.
And
former Strong champion. He's got a history of MMA and being in MLW for the most part, right?
Yeah, MLW. He was in UFC. He had a big win in UFC. He's done Bloodsport, and he's like your worked shoot kind of guy, right? Like he can do that style, that worked shoot style, and he's actually really funny too. So he has a show with Brian Alvarez every Monday night on Wrestling Observer. that I've listened to
okay.
for many years, and
Huh.
he's a pretty funny guy. So it's kind of funny seeing him in the G1 now after listening to him for a few years. So we have Jonah.
Yeah, Jonah might know him as well. Jonah is the most recent
Jonah
incarnation
Rock.
of him. Yeah, Jonah Rock is what he was in his indie days for the most part. And in WWE, he had a little bit of actually a pretty good run
Bronson
in
Reed.
NXT.
He had a really
as
good
Bronson
run,
Reed.
man. He was
Yeah.
cool. I think he was North American champion.
He was North American champion.
He was really great in
and
ladder match. He had an awesome ladder match that he was in.
Yeah, he was one of those guys that, it looked like they were going to do something with him, and then he just kind of got released out of nowhere.
Yep. It was pretty random, but that's their bad. Obviously,
That's
they
their
were
MO.
changing the whole dynamic of NXT at that point too, but not even worth talking about. So Jonah is a new guy. We've got what other new guys do we have in here? Oh, we have ELP in the G1.
ELP, I wonder how many guys have gone to a Best of the Super Juniors in the same year as a G1. I would love.
Two
I didn't hear
others that I
Chris
can name.
Samsa say that stat would be really that we're in the G1 and like Best of the Super Juniors in the same year.
Will Ospreay, Shingo Takagi.
Okay. Okay, that's pretty recent. Then that's like 2019.
Yeah.
It just
Besides
seems
them,
so
I'm
crazy
not-
that they made. We understand that Will Ospreay being a junior, but Shingo being a junior was just what a joke that was to begin with.
Shingo. I don't think it was so much of a joke because he came from Dragon Gate, and I think that's where it was based in is that he came. But it's like I thought he was really short, and then it's like no, he's like 5'10", right?
Yeah, 5'10", 5'9" is like
So
heavyweight
he's like as
size in
tall as
Japan.
me, and he's like kind of swole, very swole, I guess. So
Jeff
he's
Cobb
thick.
is probably only 5'9", so
Did you know Jeff Cobb is 40 years old, dude?
yeah, I knew he was older, like 39. Yeah.
Talk about a late bloomer. He's been wrestling for a long time, but he didn't start having great matches until like a couple years ago.
A late bloomer to New Japan standards. I think we talked about it before, where it just took him a while to really catch on with the New Japan style, because he was out there doing, those high-paced PWG style matches
he
for a long
was
time.
PWG champion, right? But I wasn't really watching Matanzo Cueto very much.
Yeah, right, or whatever, Matanza, whatever. Yeah, that's what it was.
Matanzo Cueto, and he wore
Right,
like
because he was Dario's brother.
he looked like
Some
a
kind of
Jason.
helmet. He wore like
A jumpsuit.
a jumpsuit reminiscent of one of the Wyatt family.
Yeah, with like a
with the
scary
sleeves
black
cut
mask.
off, and like a kind of like a almost like the Rocketeer style mask or something weird like that.
Is Finley new to the G1?
This is his first G1.
Okay, so that is very exciting. That we get
And Hanare, you mentioned as well. It's his first
Hanare.
G1. Both guys that
Yeah.
have been around for 7-8 years in the system there, and they're finally getting a crack at it.
And they're probably seeing what Jay White got. They're like, we were in the same class as Jay White, and he's been champion twice.
Yeah, well, Jay White's head and shoulders above the. As much as good stuff that those two guys do, they're no Jay White. I mean, let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah. Well, true, but they also were never put in a position to be Jay White. But they are, yeah. Jay White is his own guy. So, really cool. I mean, I remember seeing Hanare 4 months ago, and he was saying, like, his major goal was to be in the G1. And it would have been a disappointment if he wasn't. So, I think it's awesome. Another reason that it's cool that they're expanding it a bit is we get to see these people. Now, of course, this year, we all wanted to see Claudio and Danielson and all that stuff, but a lot of those guys are very, very busy, and on top of that, they a lot of them didn't want to do it without crowd noise. I don't know if I'd want to see Danielson in a G1 anymore, dude. Like, the dude is injury prone and stuff. That would be kind of scary.
Well, that's why he's out now, allegedly.
Yeah, he's injured.
Yeah, he's injured. I mean, that's why he wasn't at Forbidden Door. Claudio, I mean, I think I just don't think, at least with this year, they were going to get like a tip top TV every day AEW guy. They were not going to take him off TV for a month to go over there.
Oh, for sure, for sure. But it's really cool that we got Archer because there's history there. A lot of history.
Oh, it's perfect. It's perfect because it's not the most. It's not the sexiest option from like the American fan standpoint in the AEW, like wanting to see Daniels, of course, but Lance Archer makes perfect sense because number one, if they're familiar with him,
he's already in a faction,
and yeah, he's already in a faction. You can fit him right in, and plus he'll bring awareness to AEW, because that's where people, where do you see him now? AEW. So it's they're already familiar with him. And he can maybe pull some new fans back to AEW. He's someone that AEW can lose for a month, and it's not a big deal because he's kind of had that role of how do I explain it? He's like kind of like a gatekeeper kind of.
Yeah, he's kind of like a lot of dudes will get their chance against him to go through him and move on up.
Right.
Yeah, I know that he had a great match with Adam Page. I think they had a Texas Death Match.
Yeah, he's like a mid-level boss in New Japan, so he serves a lot of value there because he's always someone that you can measure up against. And it's always the baby face got to go through Archer to get to the champion. It makes sense, and he's the perfect guy for them to send for a month. If your goal is to, get Japanese fans into the AEW product more.
If only they would have sent Jake the Snake with him.
I don't know if Jake would have made it.
Did you watch last night? Did you see Archer and Taka Michinoku, their tag?
Yeah, I did a little bit.
That was so funny, man. He was like abusing Taka Michinoku.
They're still treating him like a little bit of a punk, aren't they?
Taka?
Yeah.
Well, yesterday he was. I mean, he kept slapping him around, and then he tried to body slam Taka into another guy, and Taka was like, "Fuck that." I
think when he got brought back in recently, they were kind of making him get beat up by everybody. Remember, and take everybody, and take everyone's finisher or whatever.
Well, clearly, the Murder Hawk Monster is totally okay with fucking with Taka Michinoku because he really fucks with him.
It seems like he's kind of the run of the litter now with them, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. So let's get right into these matches here. First, we had the first G1 match of the year. It was Aaron Henare versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. What'd you think, Justin?
It was okay. I kind of was thinking it would be a good spot for Henare to get the win. So I wasn't too shocked by him losing because it made sense. Because if you really go back a little bit, I was surprised it wasn't mentioned more in commentary. They were in a World Tag League together.
Yeah, that's right. They were in the World Tag League, and I mean, Henare was Hantai. Like he was always with Tanahashi.
Yeah, he was almost like you could say a mentor role. So it made sense that I wouldn't, and a guy like Tanahashi, he's starting to remind me of, the way that Liger was the last 5 years, where we might not see very many Tanahashi wins coming up anytime soon. Now that he seems to be, I mean, I don't know, I don't want to say it again, because every time you think he's starting to enter that downside of his career, he'll come out with some crazy stuff, or someone will get injured, and he'll step in and do a great job.
And then he's like headlining Wrestle Kingdom and doing a 5-star match.
Yeah, he's the breaking case of emergency for sure.
Exactly. Yeah, it's true. He's kind of getting to that point. Okay, 21 years consecutive G1. I heard someone say this earlier. I got to repeat this. If Tanahashi's G1 was a person, that person would be getting ready to graduate college.
Yeah, it's incredible. And I mean, listen, there's just something about the guy. Like, you see him walking out to the ring, and you see kind of the hobbleness in his knees. And when he hits the ropes, there's just a little bit of a crink to.
Oh, dude, he definitely looks in pain. Like, but when he goes, he goes.
but then he does these things in the match that just makes you forget about it.
He does these high fly flows off the top onto the floor, off a ladder.
Yeah. I mean, the guy can still give you a 5-star match if you need it.
Very much an Ishii type with the, like, hobbling. Not as hobbled as Ishii, but, yeah, like, when he runs, you can tell, like, something's up. Like,
well, with Ishii, the hobbledness kind of works because he's kind of a little trolly guy anyway.
with the arched back, and he's, like, humpback a little bit and stuff.
He already comes out there with his neck, his chin touching the middle, his sternum, but I think Tanahashi's more of that kind of flamboyant, pretty boy kind of guy. So when you see a guy like that out there hurting, it's a little more noticeable,
I was thinking the other day that Tanahashi always has some of the best gear in all of wrestling, like all the time.
Yeah,
he's always switching it up, and I remember Hana Kimura when she was saying that her Wrestle Kingdom outfit costs like $1,000, and it was kind of a small female. I'm like, how much does Tanahashi's robes cost to make, dude? They must be like $5,000-$10,000 to make those things, dude.
Well, I know that's what Ric Flair's cost back in the day, right?
Oh, back in the day they cost that much.
Yeah, but I'm Ric Flair is probably getting them like lined with diamonds and stuff like that. He wasn't.
I mean, all the guys have their favorite. I'm sure all the guys have their favorite seamstresses and whatnot.
Oh yeah, they have their go-to guys. I'm sure.
I mean, Okada. You gotta think Okada's material on his has got to be super expensive. That reflective material. But
yeah, for sure.
But I guess that's neither here nor there. I just thought his gear is just always so great, and like I saw someone post like a picture of the sketches for his gear on Twitter, and I was just like, geez, dude. And I love how he always has that. He has his own logo. He's one of those wrestlers who has his own logo, and it's like that, the guy on his ass. It's kind of like the modern man kind of thing. Right. Just love that. So Hanare with the win here. I agree with you. I thought the match was okay. It was short. Hanare has a lot to prove. I heard someone mention that he looks a little slow. He's bulked up and he's bigger than he's ever been. So
I think a lot of that is just the change of gimmick and style too.
Okay. Did you notice that Hanare names both his finishers after video games?
Streets of Rage, and what's the other one?
Ultima.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of cool. So we got another video game guy. We had Kenny Omega with all his video game references. And I like Streets of Rage. That's pretty cool. And Ultima is his Full Nelson. And I can't wait to see someone tap out with that Full Nelson. That'll be really cool. Him and Bobby Lashley have a Full Nelson hold on the Full Nelson lock.
Or Chris Masters, don't forget.
Does Chris Masters, is he a Full Nelson guy?
Master lock, remember?
Oh, geez.
He would have the people sit in the chair to see how long they can last in it or something like that.
I didn't know about that at all.
I think that was during our phase out mode.
Okay. I don't even know who that is, actually. But, next match, we had ELP versus Ospreay. And let me tell you this. I heard someone mention something really funny. This was Wei Ting from Post. He said that ELP is like the Wario version of Will Ospreay. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I do, but I can see that, yeah.
He's the same kind of size, height-wise, He can do all the athletic stuff, but it's not quite as clean, He's the thing I thought this match was pretty damn good.
Me too.
It's a match.
I liked it a lot.
It is like it was a junior style match,
Mm-hmm.
But the thing I really liked is that ELP buckled down and went serious. He didn't do his comedy shtick in the match. There were no dick punches or old schools or whatever he does. He was there to win it.
No, I think it was the perfect, guy to put him out there with. Let's put him out there with another guy that was a junior before, and they can get some familiar things going, and then we'll see what he does in those other matches that he has coming up with the other opponents.
Well, and they have a lot of history too in Rev Pro. ELP beat Ospreay in Rev Pro, And
Oh, okay.
you had probably heard, but Ospreay was the one who was vouching for ELP getting into New Japan.
Well, there you go. I did not know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, so they have some history there. They've wrestled each other a bunch before, and I thought it was a good match. The opening was awesome. I mean, Ospreay just out of nowhere just goes for all his junior moves, like straight out of the gate. Sasuke special, Asuka, you know?
Kind of a random question though, kind of a little off topic, but do you know why the three guys weren't at the press conference?
It was flight issues.
They had flight delays and
So I don't
stuff?
think they were in Japan.
They were they were delayed and they didn't get there yet.
They either weren't in Japan or they were in the air.
Right.
So, nothing too
Right.
crazy, you know? I mean,
Yeah, they weren't like COVID busted or anything.
no.
Not busted, but
no.
like, they didn't test positive.
Let's hope we don't have to
Right.
deal with anything like that this
Well, now
tournament.
that they're there, I think they'll be okay.
And that was ELP, Tama, Tonga, and who else didn't show up?
ELP, Tomatonga, and there wasn't Tom Lawler made it, so he wasn't on the same flight. Kenta? No, Kenta was there. I think
Someone else. There was.
I thought there was 3 that didn't.
No,
make, well, anyway.
there was, but they all gave their little notes and stuff. So, and ELP of course said that his
Archer wasn't there either.
ELP said that his name stands for extremely long phallus. And I thought he was going to go for extremely long penis, but he went for something a little less vulgar. And he actually,
Well, PH.
yeah, and
Phantasmo PH.
oh, okay. And then also he had that on his jacket, his light up jacket, coming out. Did you see that?
He's yeah. I didn't notice that, but he's a goof.
He is a goof, but like I said, he turned it on this match. He got serious. His kicks were awesome. He kicked Ospreay at one point, and Ospreay sold it by just folding his body in half. Did you see that one? Does that ring a bell?
Yeah. Yeah.
That sell is so great, man. And the fucking hidden blade at the end was so violent looking.
And I love that, like, he was staring at the ref and left himself vulnerable. I just thought it was a great finish.
Yeah, it was cool. Ospreay, I really like that Ospreay can take you out with one of an assortment of moves.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. You really never know. Because, sometimes he does like 2 hidden blades and it doesn't work. Sometimes he has to do the Stormbreaker.
Well, the hidden blade was just kind of a signature move, not necessarily a finish for the longest time. Along with the Oz Cutter was his finish originally. And then he brought in the, what's it called? What's that, like, kind of twisting thing? Stormbreaker was brought in. And then all of a sudden the hidden blade out of nowhere went from being like just a signature move spot to being the finish.
Yeah, I thought that he had debuted the Hidden Blade and the Stormbreaker at the same time in Wrestle Kingdom against Ibushi for the Never Openweight title. I think that's the case. I think he debuted those together. I know that he fucked up Ibushi when he first did it, and Ibushi had to be stretchered out. Do you remember that?
No, I don't. But I kind of remember the Hidden Blade coming. Well, I think I just always remember the Hidden Blade being there.
Yeah, because there was a talk about like
the Stormbreaker became the new finisher at some point. Maybe when he went to heavyweight.
No, that is what it is, and I think that's when the Hidden Blade came out too. Is he was basically saying he had to figure out new moves for heavyweight, which is funny that
I could have sworn he used the Hidden Blade before, but whatever.
It's kind of funny though because he gets the Stormbreaker for the heavyweights, even though that move is like harder to do to heavyweights than the Os Cutter. But also he, if he's going to be a heel, he wants a little less of a flashy move. Even though the Stormbreaker is pretty damn cool, so he puts out ELP with a violent front to the face hidden blade.
Yeah,
so
nothing hidden about that one. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, and I love that he looks up, thought he had 3, boom, like made himself look vulnerable. I really like that finish. Yeah, really great match, and I think we're gonna see a lot of that from El Phantasmo the rest of the way, and of course Will Ospreay.
Yeah, I definitely hope so. Moving on, we had Jay White versus Sonata. What do you got on this one?
It was pretty good. I thought it was better than the Hanari Tanahashi match. You know, not the hugest fan of Sonata, although he's improved a lot lately, in my
I
opinion.
feel like we've been saying that for years, though, haven't we?
Yeah, but you're gonna get that type of match with Jay White, and I don't think they're the slickest of dance partners in terms of their styles. I don't think they go together too well. Because I don't think Sonata's fiery enough to kind of counter, Jay White's tactics. It takes a nice fiery baby face to kind of, really deliver well against Jay White. But it was good. It was good. They're both very, talented guys. And, Jay White's just incredible. One of the best in the world. And the talking during the match and all the stuff with, trying to get the fans to cheer and stuff like that. Yeah.
I actually liked this one more than the Osprey match. I really liked this match. Something about it really,
it was good.
Really spoke to me. I feel like one of the things I like was not a ton of interference in the match. Pretty straight ahead. I think there was like one little spot, but no brass knuckles or anything stupid like that.
No, there was a couple things with Gato, but nothing that was the ultimate outcome decider. So
yeah, and
there's no reason why the champion Jay White should need dirty tactics to beat Sonata.
Yeah, that's true. And for such a cocky guy, it's nice to see him win clean. I love Jay White has become the counter master kind of guy, and I think that's kind of his gimmick is he counters and comes out of nowhere, right, with his finisher.
Yeah.
And I really liked the finish. I thought it was very unique the way they did it. It was like reversal into reversal, and then boom, he hits the crossroads.
Blade Runner.
Yeah, he hits
Sister Abigail.
He hits the Sister Abigail and wins. So good match, Sonata. If you're a Sonata fan, you can pretty much you should switch wrestlers at this point. Because
who knows? They might even make him win the block. Who knows what they're going to do with him? They did put him in a final a couple years ago. But no, I think that's what plays well with the Blade Runner. Actually works when you do those kind of flip flop finishers.
Mm-hmm.
When they switch back and forth, the Blade Runner is really good with that.
Yeah,
it looks good in that type of spot.
Yeah, it does, and all it takes is just this one little position, and boom, you never know if he's going to hit it or not. He'll get you into the position, even at the very end of the match. He'll get you in the position. And you're like, oh, he's going to hit it, and then they slip right out. So
right. It's easier to go. It's easy to go either way with it.
And it's just fun. You look, it's one finisher. The Cody Rhodes does the same finisher, but the way it's implemented.
I think his is a little different. I think his is almost I don't know. I have to look. I know it's a little different. His Sister Abigail is the
yesterday.
same move.
Well, maybe I'm wrong.
I think he does. I think he does something more with the arms.
Okay.
With the crossroads, I could be wrong.
I could have swore I watched him videos of him yesterday and compared.
Sister Abigail and the Blade Runner are the same, except for he doesn't kiss.
He doesn't kiss the forehead, which he should. He should.
Yeah, or he should slit the throat.
Just straight up go all the way. So, especially in a no holds barred match, right? Because it's legal. So after that, you had the main event, which was Okada versus Cobb. I thought this was really good. For me, Jay White was my favorite match of the night, but Cobb and Okada, they can always go. I didn't think this match was as good as their God, I don't even remember when they last wrestled, but
it was the last match of the block night.
Okay.
It was and it was for the the final, for a spot in the finals. I felt like they did it a little too early. I wanted to wait at least to the middle of the tournament to see this match.
Yeah, a lot of people too were absolutely sure that Cobb was going to win, and for me, just looking at the way it was set up, I knew that he had no chance. I mean, there's no. Go ahead.
I feel like it being this early in the tournament, they had to get Okada the win right away.
Well, for the first night of the G1, dude, there is no way that Jeff Cobb is going to be giving the promo to the fans. It's just not going to happen, man. I mean, Jeff Cobb, his promos too are kind of I hate to say it, he talks like you and I talk, bro. He's not
Hey
a
man,
screamer.
but he did drop the Michael Elgin line in the press conference.
And what was that?
You didn't hear this whole Michael Elgin business?
No, I heard him. He said promo, 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 promo.
No,
All these guys are
Michael
doing promos.
Elgin allegedly got arrested for stealing protein powder in Japan and got sent home from NOAA.
What?
Yeah, it's been all over, man.
No,
I'm
I
surprised
knew
you
that
haven't
he got
seen it on
dropped,
Twitter.
but I didn't know that that was the reason.
Yeah, allegedly. He's kind of doing his little denial thing about it, but he
That guy's a
allegedly
fucking idiot, bro. He's always getting
Yeah.
in trouble, man. Like,
To me, it's like, listen, if you're down on your times, we've all been there, I get it, but don't you think if he went to, like, the NOAA office and said, hey, can you guys get me some protein powder?
yo,
would've
how's
found a
he
way to
down
get him
on
some
his
free.
time, bro? He's making money in Japan.
Well, he's probably got a lot of money to pay with whatever legal cost, and he's probably got child support and all that. I don't know. But I'm just saying, you never know. What I'm saying is, all I know is that if he was in dire need of protein powder, I'm sure somebody in Japan would have hooked him up with it
He could have
without
called
having
a
to
friend.
shoplift. Or just called the NOAA office.
That's crazy.
I mean, come
That's
on.
crazy, man. And as a former thief, like, which I used to be, I used to shoplift a lot in my 20s and stuff. I know you're like, well, we all did, but I used to do it, like, a lot. It's kind of embarrassing. But, like, looking back and stuff, like, I would never do that in a foreign country, bro. That would be scary as fuck. And this is going to get a little weird here, but I actually know a guy that lived in Japan and shoplifted a lot. And he actually told me that in Japan, like, it's really hard to get caught because so little people do it that they don't even pay attention to it. Like, he was saying, you can just walk out of the store and it's almost unbelievable to them that you would do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like denial. So he must have been pretty brazen about it. It makes me think he must have been doing it a lot.
Or they had an eye on him because he's this big, giant
that's,
white guy.
That's true, too. But what a fucking
I don't
idiot.
know what your friend is, but...
No, he was just a military guy that was in the...
okay.
that lived in, like, Okinawa and stuff. But
okay.
That is not... Okay, not my friend. A guy that I knew at one point. Okay, let me take that
An
back.
acquaintance.
Yeah,
But anyways,
barely.
just to bring it back to Jeff Cobb so we can kind of not talk about Michael Elgin.
Thank
we don't
God.
need to, but... he said the only thing you guys are stealing is protein.
Oh,
He dropped
my
that at the press
God.
conference, and
That's funny.
we didn't. And 2 days later, everyone's like, "Oh my God, he was referring to that," because I'm sure there's some kind of he knows him or whatever.
Wow. He's making fun of him. That's funny as hell, man. And also, don't forget that New Japan is coming out with their own line of protein powder.
Okay,
So maybe a little double reference there.
sure.
Are you gonna buy some?
I don't know if I can get it out here. They don't look like somebody that consumes protein powder. I would try it if they had it out here, but I don't know what their flavors would be like. Green tea and like
Green tea,
red bean.
yeah, red bean paste. What's that stuff called?
Red
Azumi.
bean, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know about all that. And I don't consume protein powder either. Nor do I I eat pizza, bro. Like it's not good. So
Let's
yeah,
go.
what did you think of the match though? You thought it was good?
Yeah, it was good. Like I said, not as good as their the block final, I guess you can call it,
Yeah.
6 months ago. But it was good. I
Is-
love Jeff Cobb.
Isn't
and
Cobb just like the way he throws people and stuff is just incredible, dude.
effortless.
Okada
and
is
he did
big.
that. He did that gut wrench from the top rope. It was incredible. And they and the board came up, and they had
The board came
Red
up.
Shoes had to stomp it down. Yeah, I think Okada was telling him
He's
the
going
board is
referee,
up.
referee, and he's all
Yeah.
dingu, dingu de, and I'm like, wait, what's going on? And then you see Red Shoe stomping. I thought
Yeah.
they were gonna have to take it outside the ring and get someone in there.
But I guess it was a good thing it was the last match of the night.
Yeah, they actually.
But,
it's funny because in WWE, when the ring breaks, it's a gimmick. Now that's a
Yeah.
little different because for them the whole ring actually collapses and then a ref
just
falls and
collapses.
breaks their collarbone. But like in this one, it's like no, the ring really did break.
A pallet popped out. But no, anyways, it was a really, really good match. I just felt like the timing of it in terms of the tournament, it just wasn't placed right in terms of the schedule. But
Yeah.
We're not going to see those guys wrestle again, and they're obviously great dance partners, but then we got a bunch of Haas fights coming up, so we'll see what happens there.
Oh, yeah. All right, moving on to night 2, which I thought was a fucking great night. I guess not fucking great, but it was a really, really good.
It was a really good night.
Really
it was
good.
Fun, yeah.
Made me really miss the crowd, though, and that's because of this first match, Ishii versus Taichi. Now, Ishii and Taichi had a match a couple years ago that for me was like a 5-star match, and part of the reason that match was so good was because the crowd was freaking the fuck out. I think it was a Korakuen Hall match, and man, like it's kind of a match I'll never forget. Like, you know, Taichi does his like pose before he kicks you in the head. You know that pose, like kind of like a no pun intended Tai Chi or Kung Fu pose. I just remember him going in
sumo-ish type of thing. Yeah,
I remember him going into that pose, and the crowd was just freaking out, and I missed that, but they still put on a great match.
Taichi is becoming this like tough, hard-hitting guy like now, right? Like I've never seen a guy. It's just funny because I was thinking about it. I was like, my uncle's a big sumo guy, and I don't think he's seen much of Taichi, and I could just imagine myself saying, you know, this guy Taichi, as you hear that song being played and him coming out looking like a role-playing game character from 1993,
maybe 97.
He's coming out there looking, with the masquerade kind of outfit, right?
Mm-hmm.
He actually takes a big influence on his style from sumo. He's a big sumo fan. I'm like, you don't get that out of him walking to the ring, right?
I haven't noticed that. How what's the sumo? I mean, I see kicks to the head.
Oh! That was the one thing I was going to say. Why I love the finish of this match was he used that sumo elbow, the hakuho, right? Like they was mentioning it. Chris Charlton was. He used the sumo kind of strike.
Oh, I did see
elbow.
that. Yeah.
And that led right to the Black Mephisto, and I thought that was awesome.
Okay, that was kind of cool. Yeah, he did the rushing kind of elbow, huh?
Right. And it kind of, when the main event came about, which we'll talk about in a minute, there was kind of a similar spot, or something I thought could have been worked out similarly, but I love that elbow that led to the Black Mephisto at the end. That was just like a nice, quick, sudden finish. And these guys just obviously beat the crap out of each other. I don't know how, we'll have to donate Ishii's brain to science to really find out what's going on in there. He's probably got the brain of a 96-year-old.
No, dude, he's a lot of these guys that wrestle this style and this way we see, it's like you come to find out that they're actually so good at what they do that they can do it in a weirdly safe way. You know, it's like the headbutts, that's a different story, dude. That's just crazy. Like,
he just must have a thick skull or something. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I don't know what he's going through.
The headbutts, in fact, I think worked headbutts look better than the fake headbutts. Like, so I think they actually just look better. Like with the stomp. Look at Kento Miyahara, for example, just amazing with worked headbutts. I don't see the point of the clunking coconuts unless you want to have another Sakura Genesis situation, but I mean, who knows? We'll see in years. Hopefully, it doesn't do anything stupid. But it was a great match. Taichi looks awesome. Ishii is always good. There's no surprise there. So good stuff, man. The next match was Toru Yano versus Jonah. I think they did Jonah fucking dirty, putting him up against Toru Yano in his first match.
It wasn't even like one of those creative. Like, we'll always remember the Moxley Toriano match. Gave us a great.
I will, because it was his
meme.
First loss, right?
Yeah, it gave us a great meme. It gave us some great after promos. It was kind of creative in terms of a Yano match. Taped him to the young boy. I mean, I really liked it. I thought it was funny back then. I thought Moxley took it well, but I didn't. What was it, like a low blow when he just got counted
double low
out?
blow. He low blowed Tito and him.
Yeah, I just thought it was a really uncreative way. And yeah, like the guy coming in here, don't you want him to establish a little bit of his force?
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll get it back with some other stuff, but I don't understand it. I would have gone with Okada and Yano right away. just to get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Get
Well,
your super serious guy and your comedy guy. Let's do that night one, and then we can move on. You know?
And we got that coming right up. But yes, I agree. Although Okada, well, yeah, you could have made that the main event, I suppose. But you really don't want Toru Yano in any
I would have put
main
the
event.
champion as the main event. You would have put Jay White as the main event.
Well, then who's going to send the people home happy?
Jay White.
Jay White.
I love Jay White.
Jay White doesn't make anyone happy except himself.
He's your champion.
I suppose so. But
take it and like it. You don't go home happy every night.
So yeah, they did Jonah dirty. I didn't.
Yeah.
I thought the finish was okay. You're right. It was a very typical, but that's his role. We all know that. It's not even worth saying. That's his role, and we'll see. Maybe he'll go on a string of spoilers and be surprised. But are you going to watch their glamping, Chaos Glamping?
When does that come out? The DVD and then the pay-per-view, all that stuff, right?
Yeah, I ain't watching it on pay-per-view, though, I'll tell you that. I'll figure out a way to watch it. But
no, I'd be interested in checking it out. I'll get my wife to translate begrudgingly.
Oh, I'm sure they'll have subs, right?
I don't know, maybe.
You're going to make her sit there and translate the entire 1 hour?
Probably not.
Has she done it before?
No, I mean, we did watch the Tanahashi movie.
My Dad is a heel wrestler.
Yeah, I don't think that's on there anymore. I don't recall if they had subtitles or not. I think they did.
They must have, because, I mean...
it was a good movie.
Everyone told me they were like, the booking in this movie was like, amazing booking. Like fake, but like... They were like, the booking was incredible. If it were a real wrestling...
I know Okada was the heel.
Oh, they switched him on the end?
Yeah, Okada was the heel.
Sweet. No, I get their names mixed up because Makabe was like King Kong or something, and Okada was like something, I don't know. Gorilla.
It was weird. Yeah.
Yeah. I've never seen that, but I always wanted to watch it. It looked cool, and they did like.
It's a cute movie.
They actually remember when they actually had a match.
I recall, yeah, that did happen at some point.
And Tanahashi got to play heel for one night, which was fun. And weirdly enough, he was super good at it because he's Tanahashi. But the next match, this was my favorite match so far in the tournament, man, was Kenta versus Zack. What'd you think?
It was just one of those great ground battles, and we hadn't seen a Kenta match since Wrestle Kingdom, right?
Nope, we haven't seen one since Wrestle Kingdom. Extremely memorable match. I'll never forget those images of the blood on the table, and
he still has a giant scar on his back from it, if you notice.
Oh, is that from that?
Yeah.
Dude, the guy has scars all over. Like, I think he's got, like, neck surgery scars.
He's got the one from the shoulder when he was in NXT.
Yeah. So I felt like this match wasn't even a New Japan match, dude. It was very much like a Noah match. They slapped the fuck out of each other. In fact, Kenta was hardly slapping Zack multiple times. And there was a story, too. Did you catch that?
No, what was the story with the slapping? I did see
there was a story with the whole match, which was that Zack started in Noah back in the day as a young boy.
He was a Noah young boy.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. And so the story was that Kenta was disrespecting him and calling him a young boy. He's saying, "You're still a young boy to me." So it was like Zack had something to prove. That he's not a kid anymore. He's a full man and he can beat his ass. And a lot of times I don't like Kenta matches because like Kenta, they give him offense, and his offense, while it's like a lot of strikes and stuff, it's just like, okay, well, someone would jump up and attack him back. But like I felt like they did a great job here because he would do his offense and then Zack would catch him and put him into a hold. And so it wasn't like his just like he's just punching you, then, slowly you get up. Then he kicks you, and then it was like he would do that, and then he would kick you, and then he would grab your foot and put you in a heel hook,
I like how he told Kenta to slap him, and then he kind of did the my turn thing, and he just gave him the few quick neck snaps with his legs.
Oh, he did the double one, yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was cool.
Kenta's got one of my favorite moves in wrestling, which is his counter hit, where you get in the slap battles, and then he comes with the counter, which seems hard to time, but he timed it.
Yeah, that is cool.
He timed it perfectly, and it looked like he slapped the fuck out of Zach. So, getting a great finish here with the lucha style instant tap out.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that finish where it's more realistic, like real MMA, where it's just like, oh, I got to tap out. I'm not gonna.
Something bad's gonna happen if I don't.
Yeah, and of course he claimed he did not tap out. So he's Kenta, right?
Sure, heel does it.
So it makes me so happy to see Kenta. He really came back with a vengeance. I feel like he's got a lot of confidence right now, and it made me happy to see him here and not with a briefcase full of tape.
Yeah. I like a good Kenta promo and some laughter from Kenta because he is a funny guy, clearly.
Yeah.
But, I do like when he's in the ring, let's just make him... The newspaper thing was funny with Suzuki, by the way. Remember that? When Suzuki would be coming to the ring and Kenta would just be reading the newspaper.
Oh, he would pull out a newspaper?
You never saw that?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. It was the New Japan Cup, maybe? Something like that.
Yeah.
He would come out.
The cool thing about Kenta, and this is what I've heard about him, because I liked him in NXT, and this was before I watched New Japan, and I asked people about him, because I would look and I'd see like, oh, this guy was, like, for a couple years, he was voted, like, Wrestler of the Year in, like, 2006, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, how the fuck is this Hideo Itami guy Wrestler of the Year? What, like, why? And I would ask people, and they would say, oh, he used to be, like, super cocky and an asshole. And so it's kind of cool to see him playing that character again, because it's right in his wheelhouse. It's where he belongs. He's a sarcastic prick. He's goofy, but at the same time, he's goofy because he just doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, he's the striker, and he does the go to sleep.
Does the go to sleep or the game over, right?
Right, that's his submission, right?
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's a great match. Love both those guys.
Quick aside here, I can't name every instance of this, but we've been seeing a lot of guys do new or interesting moves. Have you noticed that too?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to kind of do some research on it, but I feel like everyone that's there feels like they have to bring something a little bit different now.
Well, you saw Okada do an enziguri.
Right.
Which was really weird. And supposedly that's a tribute to Inoki.
Okada's been filling a lot of his... he's been doing a lot of tribute kind of moves to his moveset lately.
Yeah. The other thing is
he's coming with the robe.
He got
the history.
He got a name for his like body slam kind of Michinoku driver move. So they're calling it the Clover Flosion.
Landslide? Oh, right. The Flosion, right.
So as opposed to the Emerald Flosion, it's the Clover Flosion, and supposedly that move is a kind of All Japan type of shout-out move.
Right.
So the other thing
cool.
we saw Ishii and Taichi do drop kicks, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
Ishii with a drop kick. You don't see that too often.
He does not leave his feet often.
No. I've seen matches where he didn't even leave the ring, which I kind of missed that. Like, I wish they would do that a little more. But I loved that. Last we had Shingo versus Juice. Thought this was another good match.
I love Juice as a heel, man.
I was very skeptical at first, but let me just say, man, he just plays whatever role they put him in.
He has totally immersed himself in this, and the rock hard. I can't even say it like he does. It's so good.
I swear, the first night it was a Vince McMahon impression. I swear, dude, because he was he didn't say it that way the second night, but the first night he was doing that. It sounded just like Vince.
But but he's got a little like kind of like a teenage youth to his voice, you know.
His voice can go very high, dude. Like,
yeah. That I love Juice Robinson. I've always been a fan of Juice, and he's almost kind of in a way a Jay White-ish type of heel now. But he's got every. I love. This is something I would mention if I was doing commentary. Is remember during the press conference he mentioned that the belt was getting repaired or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that belt. He brought out the other night, and it looked all scratched up and terrible.
It has been for a while.
If I was Kevin Kelly, hey, that belt wasn't in the shop. What's going on here? That would have been a good way to kind of play to the heelness of it all.
So you say that he kind of reminds you of Jay White. Can you give some like specifics to that?
Just a lot of talk during the match.
Okay. Yeah.
A lot of getting out of the ring and powdering.
Yeah. A lot of psychology stuff.
A lot more psychology stuff. A lot of talking. Obviously, it's not to the level that Jay White does it. And I think that because I was going to mention it. I mentioned it earlier, but with the left hand of God, he throws right.
Yeah.
To me, I would make that. I thought we were going to see it as a setup to the juice box or whatever he's using now, the rock slide or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's almost like the kick to the stomach
before a stunner.
Before a stunner. I wish he would do that more. Like there's the punch, and then he sets it up. Because sometimes, a good old punch to the face will be enough to knock the average person out, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I would love him to use that as, like, a setup for whatever his finisher is. And it looked like he kind of botched the finish a little bit and just went with the juice box. Was I right in that assumption?
It's the Pulp Friction.
Right, Pulp Friction, sorry.
Yeah, so, and this is something I wanted to say is... He wrestled so smart, and I even tweeted about that before Chris Charlton said it. Like, he really was like very aware of what was going on. That it's more so than I remember him being. Very impressed. So, for example, he was just doing those little things that like kayfabe like seem very like really a wrestler would do. He would pin Shingo and then pull his arm out of the way so he couldn't grab the rope. Right. Little things like that. And then at the end, he goes for the rock slide, misses it, and instead of retrying it, which we all know like that kind of looks lame, he just goes for the Pulp Friction instead. I thought it was really smart.
Yeah, I mean, from a kayfabe standpoint, it's really good stuff. And I have this feeling about Juice. Juice is someone that with no social media. He did that Alvarez interview saying he was going to walk away.
Yeah.
But I bet you, like, behind the scenes, like, working with Juice, I have a feeling like he's just really great to work with.
I imagine, man, and he's been in New Japan for a long time now. He can communicate with all those guys.
And he was in NXT, and he actually went into the dojo and trained as a young lion for a minute, right?
Yep. Actually, he quit NXT. He was not released. He was playing C.J. Parker. I remember C.J. Parker, too. And I remember he seemed kind of lame. In fact, he got his ass whooped by Kevin Owens. And he actually broke Kevin Owens' nose in their first match together. Or at least fucked it up. And they kind of had a little thing going on. But then I remember, it's like all of a sudden the dude's in New Japan. And he took a huge risk. He left NXT and went to Japan, and like you said, became a young boy, and he's won some championships. He's gone on that long babyface run. He's changed his character and look up. Well, not his character, but he's changed his look up about 20 times, and now he's
not shy about that.
Now he's finally getting to be this kind of crazy heel, and of course his promo after the match was great too. Did you catch that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he's going, moi. He's like, but y'all are Japanese. That's a little French for y'all. But when I put him on the floor, it's Ichi-ni-san. I know y'all understand what that means.
I mean, he's one of the most underrated promos in the business.
Yeah.
We've talked about that numerous times.
Well, and that's why I was interested to see his heel promo this time around. Because we know he can cry. Maybe he's just emotional, literally legit emotional. He does that if he doesn't quite like pull it off, he'll tell you. He's like, he seems depressed and stuff. And
there's something natural about the way he talks. Even if he messes up, it just seems natural, right?
For sure, very natural. Definitely charismatic.
When he shat himself, he did that. I sharded, right? But I did. Well, I will say this. Like, I think I told you before, but when I was at that G1 in 2019, he was like probably the most over. He got the loudest reaction of any other foreign wrestler, including Moxley.
Wow. What was Omega in that G1?
No, 2019. So it was.
Okay.
They were both.
Oh no,
that was the
Moxley one. That was the Moxley one.
Yeah, So I think the night I went, it was Fale and Archer, which ironically we're gonna get again.
Mm-hmm.
Evil Ibushi. Evil won that match.
God, Evil. That's another thing about this block, is we don't have to watch Evil every other night.
Osprey Okada.
Oof. Oh, you were at that show.
I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. Osprey. It wasn't Osprey Okada.
Osprey
it was
Tanahashi?
Okada and Zack Sabre Jr.
Okay.
And the main event was Kenta and Tanahashi.
Okay. Cool.
Archer against, was it Sonata? No, I'm sorry, Osprey Sonata, I think.
Nice. And what city was this in?
It was a pretty good card. It was in actually, ironically, in the match we watched it was at the Ota City Gymnasium.
Ota City Ward?
Yeah, which is Tokyo, basically.
Okay. Just a little outside?
Yeah.
Nice, man. Yeah, I thought the first night was okay. I think the second night we're starting to get to what the G1 is. Again, it's tough without crowds, blah, blah, blah. We don't need to talk about that. But, the G1, it's, we're talking 5-star matches every couple nights. And I think we're starting, like, this, to me, this Zack Kenta match was just like, okay, they're raising the bar.
It's arrived. Yeah.
It's
I'm excited for, I just don't, this is a year where it feels pretty wide open to me,
there's definitely a lot of options. I mean, but also you want to think of, like, who's going to sell a Wrestle Kingdom. Obviously, Ibushi's not there. So he's out of the mix.
You could go Okada again, and no one will be mad at that. Maybe some people will.
You could go Shingo.
You could give Naito his swan song.
Naito,
last main event.
Although I'm going to say Naito and Jay White, I don't think they have great chemistry, personally.
You can give Jay White,
and let
him be the first guy to hold the title, let him pick, and he would, maybe bring Adam Cole over.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's a lot of stuff.
Or he can pick Kenny Omega. Like, I don't know.
I was trying to think, like, could you have Zack Sabre Jr. do it and then actually go to England like he was talking about?
To me, right away when he said that, I'm like, oh, he's not going to win it. It was just like when Hiromu said that he would take, he would, what did he say he was going to do with it? That you're like, oh, no, he's not going to do that.
Oh, I don't even remember.
It was in the New Japan Cup. When he said, Hiromu said if he was going to win the New Japan Cup, he would use it to go after the junior title again.
Oh, okay.
It's like, get the fuck out of here. You're not going to win it,
Yeah.
And why would you go through all those heavyweights just to go back and go for the light? Yeah, it didn't make sense.
I didn't even know you were allowed to do that with the New Japan Cup. That's kind of weird, but...
Yeah, well, it's Hiromu, man. That's our guy, so he says those things. But, I like the fact it's a little wide open and the fact that you're going to get these really interesting semifinal matches. I hope somebody like Evil doesn't sneak into it, but looking at the way
they're not going to do Evil
plays out, it's possible.
They're not going to do Evil versus Jay White. I mean,
but then
Jay White could lose.
Can put Evil. Evil can win that block.
Yeah, Evil could win the block. Yeah,
and that's what scares me more. He's not going to win the thing, but I can see Evil winning that block.
Do you think Evil needs to be let go?
Not let go. Let's just keep him where he's at right now. Let go? Like, let's see, he wants to go back. Is he still engaged to Io Shirai?
I don't know anything about that.
I thought they were at some point.
I don't know. I don't know.
So I don't think.
Do you think he needs to be let go and find his way in a different promotion?
No,
No.
to me,
You
it's,
think
it's really
Evil
been
should
what
have a
they've done
job
with him.
still?
Yeah, sure. I'm not going to take anyone's job away. And he wasn't particularly bad. I think Evil, the booking was just really bad with him.
Yeah, at least Ghetto kind of learned his lesson so far, right?
Well, yeah, he totally put him on the back burner. I think we're going to get a lot. We might get some, conclusion of what's going on with the Bullet Club. If you noticed in Juice Robinson's promo, he was very disparaging to El Phantasmo and, Yoshi and Takahashi, Tokyo Pimp guy. Saying, you guys never beat me. Usually the Bullet Club guys aren't that disrespectful to each other.
Yeah. Bullet Club's always got bullshit going on nowadays, man.
Yeah, that's true.
But, there's a lot of options, which makes it more fun, right? And that's like one of the reasons one of the times that I love New Japan and wrestling in general is when you have no clue. It makes it so much more fun. Not saying that predictable is bad, because predictable is not bad. Predictable, just like when you watch a movie, you know the good guy's going to win at the end. It's very good. Booking should, in a way, be predictable, but it's nice to have it open where you're not sure. And Will Ospreay is another contender you didn't mention that could definitely win the G1.
Ospreay, sure, absolutely. I think, and I don't think anyone would be upset at seeing Will Ospreay. Jay White could be a very interesting match.
Oh yeah. Now,
when's the last time you had two foreigners headline
the Tokyo Dome? Never.
Right, so that we'll see if they're ready for that.
If it was, it would be like Hulk Hogan. It'd be like something from the '80s or something like
Hulk
Vader
Hogan,
versus
Stan Hansen or something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. So very exciting, man. And I'm actually having fun. I'm having fun watching this. The first night I wasn't quite sure. I knew it was going to be good, but the second night I was like, all right, baby, it's G1 season. It's heating up. Let's talk about some of the matches upcoming next two nights.
Yeah. So
unlike past years where we had like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, G1, then Saturday, then they're spacing them out. So we've got a Wednesday, so Tuesday night for us, Wednesday morning. We've got so we got Finley versus Yujiro. I'm gonna just straight up say this. Love you, Finley. This is probably one of the lesser, how do I put it? This is probably one of the matches like people are least excited for, I would imagine.
I don't know why they could not find somebody to replace Yujiro this year. No offense to him, I like, the gimmick sometimes and stuff.
Nah, Yujiro sucked.
Yujiro didn't need to be there. We could have got somebody else in that place.
Anybody is with
Carl Fredericks could have been a better use of,
and he's champion, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Champion. Maybe those guys don't want to do a G1, and
Fred Rosser would have been better.
I know they have so many people from Strong.
Yeah,
shit, Big Damo. I'd rather see him than Yujiro.
I would have rather seen Big Dude, Bad Dude Tito in that spot. To be honest with you,
yeah,
or Roy Size.
Chris Dickinson.
They could have done. Well, I don't know if he's going to be doing anything anytime soon with them like this.
Oh, did something happen?
Where have you been, dude? About a month or two ago, he had some girls call him out with his relationship Me Too stuff.
Dude, you know what? Here's where I give my news. I listen to Wrestling Observer every
You're on Twitter enough to get
Sunday,
stuff out.
Monday.
I'm sure Wrestling Observer talked about it.
No, they haven't talked about Chris Dickinson once. They haven't talked about what's his name? Fucking the Noah guy at all. Who we were just talking about that stole protein.
Well, I think I found out about that yesterday. But the Chris Dickinson stuff was like 2-3 months ago.
To be fair, though, like a lot of times Wrestling Observer, they're only going to talk about stuff that's like solidly. Well, I don't know though, because they bring up rumors all the time. But like, as far as like news, sexual stuff goes, they're only going to talk about it if it's like solidly backed up. They're not going to be like, we've heard that this may.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't know what the whole deal is with it, but I don't think they were going to fly him over for that this year because of that.
I didn't know about.
He's still getting booked, but there was something came out with him. I don't know if it's right or wrong. I don't know, but there was one and then two girls, and then it kind of slowed down after that. Anyways, neither here nor there. Yujiro Takahashi there's a lot of suitable replacements they could have used in his place.
Pimp juice. That's what I would yell if I were at the show.
Right.
By the way, on a sidebar, this is our yearly Joey Ryan update. Did you hear what happened to him?
He was working at Disneyland and he got outed.
Yeah, he got fired. Thank God, dude. I mean, the fact that he even thought he could get a job there is kind of surprising. I guess he wouldn't ring up on a background check, right?
No, because I was trying to tell my wife this. First of all, I think he must have known somebody there, number one.
Yeah.
That helped him, because he's from that area. He's an Angels fan, all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
I think he must have known somebody. He's probably a Disney fan that got him in there.
Well, and he's like an actor, kind of, a performer.
But the thing is, if you look up the report, first of all, he was never arrested, so there would be technically nothing on his background.
Yep.
So even if they used his shoot name, they wouldn't, which they probably did to look up. They didn't Google him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think if they would have Googled Joey Ryan wrestler, they would have found all that stuff out and said, okay, you know what? We probably don't want this guy working here.
Yeah.
But if they just looked up his shoot name and a background check, they weren't going to find it. But since this guy was going to be out in the public and doing this kind of role where he'd be interacting with people, they probably wanted to go a little further and go with the Google search. And I have a feeling that there was someone working there that was trying to hook him up that,
when you're that infamous, dude,
let
like
that
your
slip through.
name is gonna pop up somewhere.
He's gonna get caught. He was gonna get caught eventually. That's the thing. It's not like he was, dressing up like Goofy or something like that in a costume.
I am.
He was.
I'm quite sure that just like many people who are deviants in that way, he'll probably end up becoming a preacher eventually. That's my guess.
Well, he has done the church thing. I know you've seen that's
a little bit. So
claimed to have done.
He'll probably start a church and claim that he changed his life. So,
nah, he's already doing that. But except for the starting a church thing, I just thought, you know what, dude, you might just have to become a personal trainer at a gym.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's not the worst idea in the world. Watch you go to the gym and you're like, I'm gonna lose some weight, man. I'm gonna get into the gym. And anyways, the next.
And you hear, do you like pina coladas?
It's like, oh God, dude. You'd have to be like, well, I guess he's pretty fit, so shit, he might know something about,
Well, I'm pretty sure you would know how to get into shape.
Yeah, it's like, well, let's separate that. Tama Tonga versus Chase Owens. So we have a story match here, right? Like we got some.
It'll be good. Sure.
It'll be good. Did you see Tama Tonga's T-shirt, by the way?
Is it with the lion?
It's one of
rainbowy
the worst
lion?
T-shirts I've ever seen in wrestling.
Dude, you know what was cool was that I wish I regret not buying was the Thomas Island stuff that he put out for a minute. Those were really cool things.
Oh, he doesn't have those anymore, or what?
I don't think you can get them anymore. Yeah, they were with the T-key and the really cool.
Okay.
I wish I would have jumped on those when they were out.
Yeah, man, this shirt is one of the worst shirts I've ever seen. Now, if it said
it looks like a Lion King musical shirt, right?
It does. If it said I would excuse it a little bit if it said Pride Month on it, then I could be like, oh, I understand it, but it's got a lion with paint all over its face dripping, and then it's got and the weird thing is the lion. Are you looking at it?
I have it in my head.
The lion is photorealistic with a CG crown on it. And then it says, King of Sports Tama Tonga Team Hontai, and with rainbow colors. I mean, dude, even NXT 2.0 wouldn't sink to this level. So while I love Tama Tonga, I think he got screwed on his gear this year.
No, wait. I'm going to look it up because, I'm a bright colors guy, and I see it now.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm gonna really get the full view of it. It's just he went from some pretty cool shirts to this. It's okay.
I don't think this is gonna sell anything, dude. And that's why I'm thinking of buying it. Actually,
it's yeah. I mean, I like the colors, and I just don't think it works. It doesn't fit him, even as the baby face.
Well, because his colors are what? Gold, red, and black?
It's 49ers colors that he's been using lately.
Yeah, let's...
And it's really a risk when you put out a white T-shirt for wrestling fans too.
Oh yeah, that's true. I've heard a lot of people say that Hanare's T-shirt is really, really bad too, but I don't hate it. Have you seen his new? Is it Based? Based.
Yeah,
I
I've
don't
heard
think it's
that,
as bad as
but
people say. I mean, it kind of looks like a comic book, but it's really not that bad.
there's some wrestlers that we can do a whole episode of
Wrestling
wrestlers and
T-shirts.
merch,
Yeah.
and just say there's some really badass wrestlers I want to get, but they're,
The AJ
They're-
Cum shirt. Did you ever see that one?
yes, yeah, it's like the Val Venus one.
Yeah. So
Like there's some wrestlers I want to get one of their shirts, but I just like they have such terrible merch.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's like El Phantasm. I mean, not, I'm sorry, Desperado. Like his like he's been starting to come out with a little better stuff lately. But like, how do you not have a freaking shirt with his mask on it?
Ooh, that'd be sick. They don't
Or
have that.
like his head. No. I mean, I think they've starting to come out with it a little bit. But like all his stuff is like it's like flower. It's like looks cool, but it doesn't cry El Desperado at all.
Sorry, I'm off the mic. I've honestly, I've never been a huge fan of Naito's stuff with the kind of Mexican, like red drippy words on it.
The Crip print.
Yeah, and I know people are into that.
I liked it. I like his merch.
So
It's pretty good, but a lot of red and black.
a lot of red and black. So, okay,
Yeah.
we talk about Tomatonga, Chase Owens. Who do you got for that one? But I got Tomatonga on that one. I think he might even make a little run.
I can see him making a run, but then I can see Chase winning with some bullshit and, kind of letting that rivalry with the Bullet Club erupt into something.
Yeah, definitely. We got Archer versus Fale.
Really missed Tama at that press conference.
Yeah, he's great, but also he's a babyface now, so he's not going to be doing the same stuff he used to.
Yeah.
Archer versus Fale, the fastest match. This is like the opposite of ELP versus Ospreay, right?
I mean, this was another one where it's like, I love Fale, but like, man, I'm pretty sure we could have found somebody else.
I think
let
they
him just
wanted
hang
it
out
to
with
this.
Chase and mixed tags.
Yeah, but Fale always kind of fits into the story of the G1 in a way because he can technically always win a match. Like he's
Well, and
realistic.
We're gonna get Chase and Fale, huh?
No, they're in two different blocks.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was thinking we were gonna get Tom and Fale, but we're not. That's where this whole thing
We
goes.
get
crazy.
Tom Lawler and Fale.
Wonderful. Yeah, Archer. I was a witness to their last G1 match, I think. So
Really? There you go.
for what it's worth,
You just said
it was
that.
on the card. Yeah, I just said that. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Probably Archer going over, I would imagine.
I think so.
In about a 7-minute match, probably.
Yeah, hopefully not too long. One of them's going to have a heart attack. Probably Fale, considering...
Hopefully not everybody dies.
Is Archer going to do a flip off the ring apron onto Fale?
Over under how many, young boys does he take
Oh,
out?
God. By the way, I want to add Oiwa. He looks really good, dude. I haven't been watching the Young Lions in a while. I haven't seen him
Is that
very
the
much.
one that Tom Lawler had the match against?
I think the one Tom Lawler had a match against was like the smaller dude.
Okay.
But this
I'd have to... Yeah, I don't really know them.
I don't know him
as
that
well as I
well,
should.
and it's weird because every year we're always like, these Young Lions look incredible, but the Young Lions now are still fairly new, even though they've been around for like a year.
But I think the two that they're pushing now are very young, like 18 years old.
Yeah, for sure.
And a lot of the Young Lions that we were seeing when we started watching in that 14 and 18 range were all in their late 20s by the time they got looks. I mean, even that, what's his name? The one that went left and went to bodybuilding. That guy was in his like early 30s.
Kitamura.
Like Yota Tsuji's in his mid 20s already, and so was Shooter and all those guys. So I think these are just like
Uemura.
they're like they're all
Rennerito.
babies.
Yeah, very young. which is actually something I want to talk about in a minute here, but we'll move on to that. But this Oiwa guy, he looks like he's going to be a heavyweight. And so anytime a young lion looks like they're going to be a heavyweight, I'm automatically like, oh shit, okay, here we go.
Nice throwback episode to mention for us is the Wrestling and Age episode, where we talk about wrestlers and how their looks change as they're older, and sometimes they don't hit that full like body that they're looking for and look until they hit their mid-30s, because that's just the way the human body develops.
And when wrestlers,
that's kind of an interesting throwback.
And when wrestlers, good call. Go listen to that Wrestling and Age. We also talk about when different like cultures of wrestlers start training, like how the girls in Stardom start at like 13, and how like in America a lot of people start more like in their 20s. So we got Goto versus Naito. I'm sure these guys will have a great match. I love Goto, even though he never really does a whole lot. Yeah, it could go either way, I guess, but we're probably Naito.
Naito's giving that speech at the end of the night, right?
Oh, that's true. I forget about the speech. You got to think about the speech, dude, because really, I mean, Naito, he's giving that speech at the end of the night.
But Naito has had those, tournaments where those G1s where he'll lose the first 3 and then rip off. But that's the thing, is this formula with only 6 matches, you can't lose 2 matches in a row and then make. I guess you can lose 2 matches in a row and make a comeback, but it doesn't aid to the comeback storyline at all.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, can you ask Maria something real quick for the fans?
Maybe.
What?
She might be helping.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering what dialect.
What's the
what
question?
Dialect does Naito speak in?
Oh, she would probably have to hear him talk.
Oh, she does. Well, she drew a picture of him. You'd figure that she.
No, like
she
I
doesn't
know
hear
that.
that.
My wife's from Osaka, and she has a really, what she tells me, a very strong Osaka accent.
Oh, but you know what? He's probably from Hiroshima, right?
No, I don't think he is. I think he's from like Nagoya or something. Let me look it up.
Okay.
Because I know that you think he's from Hiroshima because he's a Carps fan, but he's not.
Oh, he's just a fan of the team.
Yeah.
And we're all looking up where Naito.
We're looking at. Oh, and of course my stupid autocorrect had me looking up Tetris.
Yeah. Let's see.
He's Adachi City, Tokyo. Yeah, he's from Tokyo.
Oh, he's from Tokyo. He's just a Carps fan. Though he probably speaks normal-ass Japanese or Tokyo Ben. So that's fine. Next.
Like, she told me that Asuka has a really, she has an Osaka accent.
Yeah, that makes sense. What's it called? Kanzai? Kanzai, right?
Maybe. Yeah, that's the area.
Or Osaka Ben. So after that, we have Zack versus Hanare. Interesting match here. Will Hanare go on a run and win his second in a row? Or will Zack tap him out? Or maybe he'll hit him with the Michinoku driver. Or the Zack driver, excuse me.
Yes.
Do you miss Michinoku doing promos for Zack?
I do, in a way, but at the same time, they've kind of so put him in bitch mode that I don't think it could work anymore.
Yeah.
And I think Zack is bigger than that now.
Yeah, and Zack has moved on. Zack actually speaks a little Japanese too.
Zack was able to go out and establish himself to be beyond needing that.
The nice thing was that he spoke to the Japanese people, he spoke Japanese, but you're right, he doesn't really need it anymore. His presence alone, and all he has to do is say the word dickhead, and I'm sure that
yes.
yeah.
Oh, here you go. Just to go back on the Naito thing. Having been born in Tokyo, Naito originally supported the local Yomiuri Giants, but switched his teams in the 1990s following Tatsunori Hara's retirement.
Oh.
So when a player retired on the Giants, he switched to
maybe his favorite player quit,
reason.
and he's like, you know what, I can't support the team no more. Okay. So now he's a car. I saw something on Reddit actually recently. It was actually him at the game. Did you see anything like that?
Yeah, I did.
And he's just sitting there on his phone,
Sure.
Really cool. So we've got Yoshihashi versus Shingo. Shingo will probably destroy Yoshihashi, but they might have a good match. Okada versus Yano.
I definitely don't see Shingo going 0-2 for sure.
Yeah. Okada versus Yano. All right. I'm hoping
Okada versus Yano.
I'm hoping that
that'll be fun.
Okada blasts him over the guardrail and then does a splash over the guardrail on his ass, and then throws him in and tombstones him. And then
50 times.
And then Ishii versus Jay White. That'll be a good one. Those guys.
That'll be fun. Yeah.
Those guys actually had some matches recently, I think, in the last year.
And I can see Ishii winning this one and getting a filler title match before the end of the year.
I think there's a rivalry there, man. I think that, and you know what, Ishii does have that role quite a bit. Like, he beat Omega. Remember that in the G1?
Yeah, he did. He got a title shot.
It was like the match that, like, why wasn't... It was like one of those matches where I was like, this should have been better than it was. But,
yeah.
I
could see this being one or probably one of the two losses that Jay takes.
Yeah.
In the block.
Yeah. I could see that, too. And, God, I even thought to myself...
Do you want Ishii giving a speech?
Ooh. The speech question. I don't think Ishii is going to give a speech, dude.
He's a very humble guy. I would love to see, what the records are and if,
because Ishii doesn't promo, right? Like, he doesn't promo. That's not his thing. Or he'll say thanks.
He'll say, he'll say something very brief. But
him and Sanada, like and Ibushi as well. Like, they usually just say like one sentence and then walk off. Very Japanese, right?
Yeah.
As far as the brevity of it. Not very verbose. So I wanted to ask you real quick, what did you think about and I'm sure you heard the news, even though I seem to be the one living under a rock recently. What did you think about the New Japan press conference where they talked about, one, the inclusion of female wrestlers in New Japan, and two, the new method of recruitment for New Japan?
Take me through what this new method of recruitment is. I think I might have heard something.
The new method of recruitment is, one, the Young Lions system. They're talking about changing it so that there's no more you're wearing just black trunks when you start. They're talking about kind of like Dragon Gate, where they just start people and kind of let them do different stuff and start letting them develop characters early on. The second thing that they're talking about doing is starting to recruit people in and right out of high school instead of in their 20s.
Is that what it was? Because I thought they got young guys. Oh, I didn't know what their recruiting strategy was before. I thought they did recruit young people.
They usually wait till they're out of college.
Oh, I see.
At least they have been for a while. Look at this as opposed to Stardom, right? Where Stardom, you have 16-year-olds. That's what they're talking about now, having 17-year-olds.
Stardom, you can't. Stardom, they don't really make all the young people wear black, right?
Yeah, they don't do that. And so New Japan is talking about moving towards that and actually having these people start developing a character when they start wrestling.
Man, it's like I really love the black tight thing though.
Yeah, me too.
But I wish I would maybe let them pick a character a little quicker,
or give them one.
Maybe or in 6 months let them wear the black tights for 6 months and then let them start trying characters. But I just like the imagery of like, I know that's a young boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know that's a young lion because he's wearing the black tights, and it's a really good kind of conversation piece when you're trying to get someone into it. Like, hey, these are like the young guys that are training, and all they let them do is wear this, and all they let them do is these moves. Mm-hmm. And then eventually they get sent away, and they go on an excursion, they come back with a character.
Well, and even
that's a really cool...
Even slower than that, it's like, eventually they can grow their hair out, right? They can wear, like, they might get one knee pad. They can do one extra move.
I would almost keep the black, but I would let them do whatever hairstyle they wanted, beard.
You wouldn't shave them bald?
I wouldn't shave them bald.
And I think that is going to be the case
New York
now.
Yankee stuff. So I think...
Johnny Damon, goddammit.
Yeah, I think I would stick them with the black tights, but I would let them be let them mess with their aesthetics otherwise.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
If they want to wear black long tights, go ahead. But I still want to be able to see them right away and say that is a young lion.
well, that's all changing, and I'll tell you this.
Okay. Fine. I'm not like an old school guy, but I just like that presentation. But if that's what that sounds like would be more fun and probably better for them. So
well,
that's fine.
I was really worried at first. I was like, "Oh God, this is terrible that they're doing this." And we can say this, like whatever New Japan does, fucking works. Their wrestlers after 2 years in the system are much better than NXT guys after being in NXT for 5 years.
And you know what? In all honesty, though, like we aren't inside the dojo. They might have just not had a lot of people interested. And in doing that, in being in the dojo, right? I mean, we've moved beyond this kind of society now where we go away to boot camp, and there's a lot of people that probably don't want to make that kind of sterile commitment, right?
Yeah.
Like, so if you give them a little more creativity and stuff like that, they might join. And I bet you they probably haven't gotten as many recruits as they usually do. Well, I know the pandemic had something to do with that. But.
Well, here's where I come from, though. So I was thinking, this is terrible. But then I started thinking, and I was thinking about Dragon Gate. And Dragon Gate has an awesome crop of young lions. They always do, whatever they're called, young dragons. They recently, I mean, since when I started watching a few years ago, you've seen their young guys just incredible hip hop kick.
As long as you don't give them a monkey to take care of.
No. Do they do that in Dragon Gate?
That was where that whole thing happened.
Oh God, they had to take care of a little Japanese macaque.
Is this another? Yeah. Well, you didn't hear it. Like allegedly, they abused the heck out of this monkey.
That's terrible.
And the people involved, I don't know what their level of involvement was, but one of them was. Shima.
Oh boy.
Shingo was allegedly involved.
Oh no.
Or not involved. I don't really know. And then Akira Tozawa was a young boy at the time, but I don't think he had anything to do with it.
Yeah, let's hope that never happens again. Right?
Yeah. So let's treat monkeys well.
Yeah,
maybe not having monkeys altogether is probably.
You don't really need monkeys in the dojo. They could bring you your clothes and stuff, but. Besides that, that's kind of...
Let's not
go there. Let's not go there.
Let's go see them at the zoo or watch
them in the snow, in the hot springs.
Yes.
Exactly. But Dragon Gate has an awesome system, and it's a system that works, and I've seen it work over the years. They really produce real good wrestlers, and their guys start kind of developing their characters from the beginning. And so it's a system that has been done in Japan. And it can work. So whether we like it or not, it is going to change. And
hey, man, it's not like I'm all for evolving. So if this is what is evolving, and I'm for it. So let's
not cry. It's the end of an era. But
right, we'll get used to it.
We'll get used to it. The second thing is women's wrestling in New Japan.
I mean, seems like a no-brainer. I mean, Stardom and New Japan are owned by the same company, and it was just really the fact that they were owned by different
owners.
Broadcasting companies. Yeah. No, the same company, but they were on different broadcasting networks. Yeah. But also there's that culture of Japan where you have the women's matches, and there's probably a different set of fans.
Yeah, and it's you're right, although things have changed too. Like DDT, you get both. GLEAT, you get both. Now, a lot of other companies you don't. Obviously, there's that tradition. But the thing that bothers me about this, and this is, I like Dave Meltzer brought this up. I agree with him. This means that Stardom would become a feeder system for New Japan.
In what way?
The top Stardom people would go to New Japan.
Like women? Oh, so it's not just including Stardom.
Yeah, they're still going to be
starting a women's division.
Yeah. So it's a little scary because Stardom's had so much success. To think of them,
I don't know why they wouldn't just make Stardom their women's division.
Yeah, that's a good question. And then you can have Stardom matches on the New Japan shows, right?
It seems like
Pretty logical.
you're buying a brand new car when you have a perfectly good car at home.
Yeah, yeah. So
That's not no one's using. Like, no, let's just use this car. It's the same car. Why are we going out and buying a new one?
yeah,
That or another one that's not as good. Yeah, that's it. Sounds like with your car, right? That you were telling me about before the show.
I don't want
Just
people
keep the
knowing
car
about
that you-
that.
Yeah, well, just keep the car you have, right?
Yeah.
Like, why buy another car?
Yeah, man, it's a little weird.
Doesn't make any sense.
I really don't,
I mean, how does that help Bushi Roads? Seems like they're shooting
because they
themselves
want
in the
New
foot,
Japan
no?
to become this bigger company, right? But yeah, it is kind of shooting themselves in the foot. And then they have this amazing company with some of the best women's wrestling. No disrespect to TJP, which not TJ Perkins, TJP Tokyo Joshi Princess, which also
Right.
Tokyo Joshi Pro, which also is supposedly incredible. But you know, the making Stardom into a feeder sounds not like the best idea in the world. I mean, and
It's ready to go.
it gets you
I
a
don't
little
know, yeah.
confusing too, because it's like, okay, now are we gonna have a women's G1? You know what I mean? Or are they just gonna keep doing the 5-star thing? I hope they figure it out so that I think just keeping Stardom would be best and having Stardom matches on New Japan shows.
Or if you want to take Stardom and just relabel it as New Japan Women, do that then.
Yeah, yeah. But this is what they're announcing, and we'll see how that plays out. This is just an announcement, but it was a pretty big announcement, and I like seeing New Japan evolve. New Japan has evolved at times and done some pretty dumb shit. I mean, their U.S. expansion was before the pandemic. Like, it was kind of botched, I thought. It got a lot better after the pandemic, so it's like they were forced into making it better. Not to say that they didn't have great shows here, like Long Beach and all that stuff, but after that, like, remember when they were having shows that, like, didn't have any stars on them?
Yeah, they were. Well, remember there was that visa issue
they had
for a
visa
minute,
issues,
so-
and it was...
Well, first of all, they were running shows in Charlotte, North Carolina, when no one really cared about New Japan Pro Wrestling too.
Yeah, I don't know about that, though. Charlotte's a wrestling city.
Well, there was some towns they were running in that they had really bad crowds for, and I
like
was like,
Kansas
yeah, that's
City and freaking, like, the most
Yeah.
random places.
There were places that they probably shouldn't have run.
Shit, their next show's in Nashville, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. See, that's another one. Like, I guess that is kind of a wrestling. Well, Memphis more, but
Well, Hiromu will be
seems
there.
like
so.
Yeah, good for he's getting here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have stuck with the West Coast.
Well,
for
you
the most
either
part,
I would
and
either
slowly
do West
expanded.
Coast or very Northeast, Philadelphia,
Yeah.
Boston, New York.
You can do some Florida stuff.
Oh yeah, Florida. Yeah, Florida.
But then I would really want to make sure I'm hitting well there before I would go to like Fort Worth, Texas.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing I'll say is, like, one thing I do respect about AEW is they have Chris, what's his name? Chris...
Statlander?
No, he's a guy. I don't remember his name, but he used to do a show called WrestleNomics. Now Brandon Thurston does it. But Chris, what he does for AEW is he is their data guy. Like, he crunches all the numbers. And so when people are like, oh, they're going to dry out this market, it's like, dude, they're going there. AEW's going there because they've crunched the numbers hard, and they, like, predictably can get tickets from these places. That's why, like, they do Chicago all the time, right? But it's like they also sell out in Chicago all the time.
They went to the well. And during the, when the pandemic was still going on for other parts of the country, they were hitting up Texas a lot because they knew they could always sell tickets.
And they probably still will be. I mean, they've been to LA once, Ontario once, they've been to Denver once, I think they've been to Utah once. So let's not get too sidetracked, though. We'll talk about that in a minute. I actually, we were talking about Tokyo Joshi Pro, right? Like TJP. And I wanted to kind of use that to move on to a Tokyo Joshi Pro match that you recently watched.
Yeah, I checked it out at your encouragement.
Yes.
It was
Yamashita?
Yamashita and Thunder Rosa.
What do you think of
really
Yamashita?
random.
I've never seen her before.
She's pretty good. Enjoyed it a lot. I was kind of shocked that Thunder Rosa just went over to Japan out of nowhere. I
It
didn't
came out. It
hear
did
any
come
of
out of
that.
nowhere, and then she was on like Dynamite the next couple days later.
Yeah, did she do some other stuff for Stardom and everything, or like, I
No,
think
I
it's a
don't think she
brilliant
does
idea.
Stardom stuff. I think she's just with TJP in Japan.
Because I think it's brilliant that she's going to Japan and taking that title with her
It's really
for
awesome.
an AEW marketing, and Tony Khan letting her do that. That's awesome, and
What do you think of the
it's
crowd?
gonna help. They were actually cheering.
Yeah, didn't it feel weird?
It was fine. I'm just befuddled by the fact that whose regulations are these?
I think they're New Japan's regulations. I've heard different things from different people. I heard a guy in the Discord that was like, "No, these are the venues that are saying this, and that." But it's not because you have Ryzen and baseball and stuff like that, right? Like, but Ryzen lets people cheer like crazy, and they run domes.
Yeah, I've kind of given up, and
Well, don't give up because we are having shows.
I've given up on trying to understand.
Yeah, don't. Yeah,
who's making the rules?
yeah.
here.
It's like you want to shake the guy and say, "Look, COVID is terrible. It's fucking terrible. It sucks, but it's also part of the world now, dude. And if you just keep doing this, you are hurting your product." But we are getting shows in well, real quick. So you like the Thunder Rosa match? I thought the finish was really cool. Just roll up, boom, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and you got a reason for her to come over and get a title shot in the U.S. or something.
Yeah, and it was cool seeing that ref, by the way. That ref is like DDT's most famous ref. He's like their Red Shoes. He's got the slowest count in the world, but I love that guy.
I was just going to say that ref, he's got a slow count. I didn't know what the heck he was doing half the time.
I like it because he goes,
if you like him, I'll give you a benefit of the doubt.
And then like the third count is like 3 seconds or like 4 seconds, So
and you know what? Like, it'll give what's her name again?
Yamashita
a chance to come to the States, and then if she, gets that title shot on a Dynamite or whatever, then that promotion will get a little bit of promotion on AEW, and maybe you'll have some people, it helps everyone.
Yeah, and they have Maki Ito's been on Dynamite few times, right? She's from TJP, and then we have Yuka Sakazaki from TJP also, who's been on. So AEW obviously has a close relationship with DDT. So definitely was a very good match. It was free, which was fun, right?
Yes. And Dark is very expansive, man. There's you could watch Dark every week and be pretty, filled in on your wrestling.
Yeah,
it's not all great.
Dark and Dark Elevation
Totally reminds me of those studio WCW shows back in the day.
What were they called? Do you remember? We're talking about like when it said World Championship Wrestling.
It was the stuff that you would watch, on Saturday morning.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Did you get a chance to watch Pac versus Umino?
You know what? Didn't see that one, but I see it. It is on the same episode.
Same episode. Another great match, dude. Umino, I'm so happy for him, and I'm happy for me to see him because, when we had, he's like, to me, he's one of the first young lions I've seen in a little while that it's like, okay, this guy, he's going to be a serious main eventer. There were times in that match where he looks exactly like Tanahashi, dude, and it's kind of scary. Like when he's powering up, and he has his fists out. It's like, whoa, he looks just like Tanahashi.
No, and we saw kind of his coming out party.
Forbidden Door?
At Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
That's where oh, okay. They got big plans for this guy, and he was great in that match. That match was all about, getting him presented, and they did a great job. So he's still learning. He's still getting better. I haven't seen anything about Yota Tsuji. Now he's a little, I don't know. I guess
yet to see where he's going. I think he's doing like a samurai gimmick.
Yeah,
Whatever.
like a lot. Yeah, he's doing the robe and all that stuff, but I haven't seen too much. I haven't seen a match or anything. But yeah, he went. I thought he could be a good kind of baby face, kind of with a little bit of a goofy side.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that eventually could be what he does. But him as a heel is a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah,
because he's got such a friendly face.
for sure, man. Yeah, that Pac, if you get a chance, the Pac versus Umino, it was really good. Umino is so over in England that, like, even though Pac is from down the street, Newcastle upon Tyne, like, they were clearly cheering for Umino. They were kind of cheering for him both, you know what I mean? But Umino is just like, he's become like a house favorite at that venue. Like, they really love him. So
that's awesome.
And how can you not? Real good stuff. Did you? Okay, so you weren't. We were talking before the show, and you had a lot of wrestling to catch up on, so can't be mad at you. But you weren't able to make it through the Dynamite. You tapped out.
I had to tap out of the Dynamite, but hey, you got to give me credit because I had nothing when you were talking to me earlier this week, and I watched both nights of the G1. I got that match in,
and you watched the Yamashita match.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay.
So I find with Dynamite, unless I'm watching it live, it's a little harder for me to get through because I feel like it's spoiled already.
Yeah, I understand.
And just the way that I watch it, it's not the most easy thing to put on.
I understand.
The way I watch things.
I understand you.
So it's like if I'm not watching it live, it's kind of a pain in the ass to put on. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I tried to watch it the other night, and I was just falling asleep. And I just I am not gonna. I gotta go to bed.
No, I feel ya. Well, then they're gonna get my little 2-match Dynamite report. Then
go for it.
So Dynamite this week, there were 2 matches that really stood out. They were both great. One was great. One was just 5-star to me. Absolutely incredible. One of the best matches of the year. The first match was Takeshita versus Moxley. Moxley is just so good, and God, it's like that. I'm so glad he went to Japan too. Like he's learned how to pace himself in that style of match as a bruiser, as a brawler. He has learned how to. This was not a PWG style match. This was more like a New Japan, singles style, drawn out kind of awesome match with great near falls, and you had him going against Takeshita. Takeshita quickly becoming a big star in America, in my opinion. I don't see how you can't like the guy. He's great. He's big. He's got size. His moveset is cool. I've watched him in Japan, and I don't remember him being this cool. And maybe he's just finding dance partners. Maybe he's one of those guys that maybe he's one of those wrestlers that, like, he comes to America and that style just fits him. You know what I mean?
I mean, I can see him being in a couple of years, maybe one of AEW's top stars, right? And I think Tony Khan loves the idea of having a Japanese star that's basically his. I mean, where is he from? DDT?
Yeah, he's from DDT, and he's been around for a while, but he's pretty young still.
He's not 30 yet, right?
I don't think so. He got a degree in exercise and sports science, by the way. And as it was funny because they mentioned on Dynamite that he wrote his master's thesis on the German suplex.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Pretty cool, yeah. But this match, oh my gosh. So some interesting things is that Takeshita bled during this match. My guess is that Moxley convinced him to do it. That's my guess, right?
Probably. Moxley loves the blood, man.
Loves the blood. And it was funny because I think this was his first time juicing, and so he barely nicked his head, you know what I mean? He just scratched it a little, and the blood kind of went away by the end of the match. He didn't quite get the Crimson Mask going, but I was okay with that. There was a brainbuster from Takeshita in this match that looked so brutal, and props to Moxley for he kept his body straight up and down all the way, down to the ground. It was one of the best looking. It was like textbook brainbuster, like you teach that in a wrestling school. That brainbuster got me, man. And the suplex that Takeshita does is just so perfect looking. It's like a rainbow arch almost. And God, he took the Death Rider, he took the Paradigm Shift, he took the Death Rider, he took everything, and Moxley finally got him, but gave him a huge run for his money. I heard people saying like you could have even put the interim on him for a week, and then had Moxley beat him right afterwards. And no one would have been mad at that. I mean, he wouldn't have been champion, right?
I think it wasn't one of those what they call the Eliminator match, like the Thunder Rosa.
Yes, that was an Eliminator match, yeah.
Right. Which I never heard that term until today.
That's an AEW
what
thing.
It meant. Yeah. I mean, I guess you could have just let him win and get the title shot and lose, not put the title on him.
I thought that he actually would have become... was that not a match for the actual interim?
I could have sworn I heard the word Eliminator, because it was in the middle of the show. AEW is usually going to put that stuff on last if it was a title match.
Yeah, or first.
Right.
Sometimes they do that. So the other match, and this match was my match of the week. This was Swerve and Lee versus Young Bucks versus Starks and Hobbs. This was PWG style, Dragon Gate style nonsense in a good way. This was spot after spot after spot. And when you think they couldn't do any more spots, they did more spots. And when you think they can't go to the next gear, they went to the next gear. And then they went to a gear after that. This match was fucking ridiculous, man. I mean, some of the stuff... Swerve Scott. God, that guy is so good. I don't know in NXT why they... What happened? Because I watched him in NXT and I was like, he's okay. He was doing shit in this match that I had never seen before. He was like, he grabbed the ropes and twisted his body and like kept up spinning. Never seen anything like that. He was easily keeping up with the Young Bucks, doing all their stuff with them. In fact, Matt Jackson got a stinger in this match from a suplex that just a suplex. So he got fucked up during the match, and they still pulled out all their stuff. You had Swerve doing running moonsaults off of Keith Lee's gut. You had Hobbs doing his power spots, throwing people around. You had Hobbs and Lee both in there, going against each other, but then taking care of the small dudes. Starks didn't do a ton, sadly, which I love Starks, but this match was the Young Bucks and Swerve and Lee, and man, it was just so great. I still think if you have a chance, you should watch this. You will not be bored. This match was just non-stop action.
Totally don't think I would be, but yeah, I do want to check it out.
And if you know what, maybe I can find a way to send it to you over Google, so you don't have to, do anything weird.
We'll see.
But this match was actually so good that like I've actually sent it to a few non-wrestling fans to be like, dude, you got to see this match. Some people are not going to like this match, obviously, because it was a spot fest. I have no problem with spot fests. I like spot fests. I like singles matches. They're both good to me. Not a huge fan of the death matches, though. That's not juicy.
No, I'm not either. I'm with you.
Yeah, but Swerve and Lee win it. After the match, Keith Lee cries and cuts a promo to his friend that has cancer right now, stage 4 cancer, and dedicated the match to him and said, I'm coming down there to see you this week. Man, just awesome stuff. And me, I'm an AEW fan. I'm not a hardcore AEW fan, but stuff like this, like they really get me. And I didn't see it. Actually, you know what? I watched the highlights of it, and then I was like, oh, I really got to go watch this match. So, yeah, and the Young Bucks, they as much as like,
they'll always put something together.
Yeah, as much as I have disliked them actually for a long time, they are like Kenny Omega was in New Japan. It's like they always have good matches. They have a tendency to put on great matches. So
they definitely perform.
You looking forward at all to Death versus Dishonor? You seen anything about that?
Is it Claudio and Gresham? That's the only thing I know about it.
Yeah, plus they're FTR versus who are they? What are they called?
The Briscoes?
Briscoes again. Yeah. And that match was amazing last time. So
Oh, I'm sure this one will be too. When is that
I think
event?
that's coming up this weekend.
Oh dear! Wow.
Yeah. Did I just found out why the Briscoes never were in any real promotion? Did you know that? Like
Yeah.
why? You know why and
He
stuff?
he went on Twitter. Mark said some pretty homophobic things,
Yeah.
and then claimed for them to be in character and not really how he believes.
I saw something written that
It was
that tweet cost them millions of dollars.
Yeah, it was like something about like if my son was gay or something like
Oh,
that. It
boy.
was really stupid.
Oh my god. Yeah.
really stupid.
You know, I don't prescribe to the belief that like if they're in character they should never say anything. I don't always prescribe to that, but like there's a line obviously. Like there's no reason
There's a
as an
line.
entertainer
Yeah.
to be a bigot and stuff like that. Like it's just
Well, you know, in pro wrestling's just different. People assume that you're that person, and as much as
I don't know though. Those
people
those
try
guys
to say that's a character.
those guys don't seem like they have a character. I'm just gonna tell you.
Yeah, I know, man. That stuff with the farm it's all good stuff. I kind of honestly believe that he really didn't mean to do that, but at the same time, like, you still shouldn't do that.
Yeah, just don't do that.
Yeah.
I remember AJ had a thing where he was saying racist stuff too, and he was like, "No, it was all in character." So it's like
AJ's another guy. Who knows?
so yeah. So yeah, thanks for listening, y'all. This is the first podcast you're going to listen to all week where we don't talk about Vince McMahon's sexual allegations. So congratulations, we made it through the whole show without talking about that. I don't really feel like talking about that.
I just feel like nothing's changing within the company in terms of the creativity, although they are going to TV-14 or whatever that means.
Bro,
but
what does that mean? What does that matter? Bro, a couple years ago, they had a storyline about fucking a chick on their wedding and impregnating a lady and stuff like that. The TV-14 doesn't matter. They've already been doing that.
I think if anything, TV-14 hurts them because they lose out on some of the sponsors.
Maybe. You got to think that they've done the math on that already.
Yeah, but anyway, I don't even care.
Yeah.
Let me see a better product, and if it's because of that, then whatever. But until then,
Although I will say I've been watching these clips of Becky and Asuka on their house show loop, and those seem great. Asuka's always awesome.
Well, that's a whole different...
I know. We're talking
WWE,
WWE, and I'm just saying, like, Becky and Asuka, great chemistry. They've been having fun slamming her ass against... she's actually stink-facing Becky every night, which is pretty great. It's like, I hope to God she's clean. I'm sure she is, though. She's Asuka. She's got to be. But did you say okay as in let's move on? All right, cool. Well, Justin, do you have anything else to say?
No, man. I'm going to try and get some sleep right now. I got work tomorrow.
Didn't you tell us that you wanted to make a big political, speech?
No, you're never getting that from me.
Okay, cool. I don't blame you on that one, man. Well, thank you, Justin. Thank you, listeners.
Thank you.
G1, get into it. Get excited. It's hot. Send us your tweets, whatever. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you think of the show. Tell us what you think of the G1. If you disagree, agree with us about New Japan's new recruiting process and having women. We're interested to hear from you. We are at... I was going to say at In Ring Art. We are at Wrestling and Pod, and on Instagram at Wrestling and Podcast.
That's right.
Okay, and you can find us there at In Ring Art. Justin, you can go check out his awesome artwork. Get a T-shirt like this awesome.
Oh, that's right.
Eddie Kingston shirt that I spilled red wine on a month ago. Thank God it came out.
Uh-oh.
So
beautiful shirt, stain proof.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Got my Eddie Kingston shirt. I'm waiting for someone to walk up to me and say, "Is that Eddie Kingston?"
One of these.
I definitely saw a kid. I was driving the other day and saw a kid wearing a Marty Scurll. This is so random, dude. A Marty Scurll Bullet Club hoodie. But
oh boy,
you know that the kid just got it from like the reseller, or he got it from Goodwill or something, and he was probably like, "Damn, that's cool. It says villain on it."
Exactly.
So yeah. All right, man. Have a great night, y'all, and have a great night, Justin. We will catch you guys later.